but we can't 100% confirm that until we have all the final builds through. So we will put that out when we have that ready.
Awesome. Alrighties. Well, with that, I will bid you all adieu and see you possibly next week.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Monty.
Cheers.
So, how is the mood?
Well, I'm up in the Gold Coast. My mood's pretty good, to be honest. How's everyone else's mood?
If I would be on the Gold Coast, probably better. Damn it!
I'm reading the blog.
I mean, that's got to be the best advice, right? Read the blog. I haven't read the blog yet, so I expect everyone to unpack it in due time.
It's pretty much you get a share, but a share means you have to pay up if the price. If more people buy than 135k, price will be more than 696, so you get 0.8 prisms, but you won't get one. You can just trade up or sell it. So yes, price can easily double, triple if some whales go crazy. Have you seen a punk sale for $60 million? Sorry, in this fucking space, I have seen far crazier stuff. We have Cool Cats, Archie Penguins, and those guys, in opposite to us, just earned a shitload of money.
It doesn't go the other way, correct? Like if they only sell
Nope, it doesn't go
70,000.
down. It's not fair. It has a minimum price.
Let me read a really good explanation so that people can kind of understand it. If 135,000 times 696.9, and in that calculation, the 135,000 is the amount of prisms available, and 696.9 is the price en route. So when you multiply those numbers together, that's 94,081,500 root. If more than that amount, well, let's say this: if exactly that amount gets put into this mechanic, then the price will be exactly 696.9, and all the vouchers will get distributed. Now, if it is less than that, then not all of the vouchers will get distributed, and some will be available later. And if
But the price
more
stayed
than
the same.
that amount is spent, then the price per voucher will go up to whatever the amount is divided by 135,000.
And you will get, but you will get a fractionalized one, which you can't redeem. So you have to trade up or to sell it.
PCO,
Right. So
you're
so
gonna
let's
have
say
like 100 of them, so you're only gonna have 80. Is what you're saying?
for example, the price is, instead of 696.9, let's say it goes up to 1,000 for an example. Then if you put 1,500, you would get 1.5 vouchers, and with that you would be able to redeem
one,
and
you
then you
have
could
to buy up or
sell
to
that
sell.
half, or that half a voucher, or you can buy another half a voucher and redeem two.
How much root is in circulating supply? Sorry, I don't know that.
It's on CoinMarketCap, but then you can also see the amount of root that is staked as
Just
well.
to give you an impression, on
Okay.
1st of April from Sandsburn, I think 300 million root are coming free on the market.
Right. So what I'm getting at is if we use 94 million root to mint this out, like what percentage of the circulating supply is that? You know what I'm
Not
saying?
big.
Like what the likelihood is that was
Yeah, it's not
10%.
big. There's a lot more on the market.
1 billion circulating supply. I already checked it
Thank you,
on
sir.
CoinMarketCap. 1 billion circulating supply. Roughly 350 million staked or 35 million. I had to back. I don't know if that math was right,
Right. So if
but
that
roughly
happened, that would
10% of
send
circulating supply.
that's going to send the price of root to like $2 in order for that to happen with the price action.
Yeah. A lot of people have root, and some whales don't even have it staked or unstaked early, so not necessary, no.
Well, yeah, like if if you unstake it, right? There's a 28-day cooldown or unlock period, so you're not going to be able to do that in time for this mint, right?
Yeah, but a lot of people unstaked already. That's the other thing.
Gotcha.
And but yeah, you're right. Price can go up, which means mint price is even higher in dollar. So the minimum price, let's say it stays at 10 cents. We are at $69. It's 10.5. So we are currently at $72. I expected we had the high of $13, around $80.
I guess the thing is, if you believe in the project and you believe the price of root is going to go up in value, purchasing it at the 696.9 is a no-brainer.
Still means
Because
you need a liquidity now.
hang on, PCO, you keep talking over people before they finish speaking. So at a price of 696.9, you would assume, being a premium asset, that the prisms will accrue a lot more value than the cost. So I don't understand what your attitude towards the price is, PCO. If you believe in the project and you think it's going to do well, and the price of root is going to go up, and the asset that you're going to buy is going to accrue a lot more than what you've paid for it, what is the problem?
First of all, I probably can't play the game as TNL is already lagging. Second of all, I don't know the time frame or how the game works. Third of all, I already invested a lot of money, for example, for burrows and other stuff. So minting for another money. And the last point, I would need $5,000 liquidity now to mint.
Okay, so they're all variables that you take into account for your own investment strategy, and there are a lot of other ways to play the game. If you don't want to pursue the route that's available within the land economics, you could just sell your Surrealscape and sit this one out.
As an
I mean,
expert, I don't know my Surrealscapes yet or they worth.
yeah, but my point is that this information will come to light, and then you'll be able to make some informed decisions. But that's probably
Nah,
more.
I'm getting rushed by a bonus multiplier on the first day. Sorry, this is all like a big casino thing.
Then don't participate, PCO. Nobody's making you do it. I don't like it's up to you.
That's absolutely true, but you can understand that I might want to participate in it, and I didn't expect to spend more money after waiting over 2 years.
I mean,
But
I know
you're getting what you were promised. You were promised land plots, and you're getting that through Surrealscapes. So this is an opportunity to utilize that if you wish, and be rewarded for doing so if you choose to participate.
Folks,
Does anyone want to create a
Not to
poll
mention the
on
100
Venmo account?
You're also
if
getting a
anyone
100
agrees?
engagement score per prism in the first 24 hours. Like, you can look at that however you want, but it's an extra incentive to
and
make
it's
it
a really
easier
high
for you.
future score, which is devaluing the NFT even more.
It's not a collectible. Future score. It will decay over time.
I think the other thing to remember about the engagement score is there might be some additional for people participating in this quest, but there will also be boosts for people participating in other future quests. So you know, you don't have to participate in every single one if it's out of your means.
I don't
It's
think
also a great.
I don't think PCO is like completely off base here. Like everyone has
No.
a future score, right? But
I'm not
what?
saying he's okay.
what-
So I'm just
let me
saying that
just let me just finish my sentence, please. Everyone has a future score, but what it really is a percentage of the total future score. In other words, if people are getting more engagement score for spending in the first 24 hours and someone chooses not to spend in the first 24 hours, their future score gets devalued. So I guess the argument that you can choose not to participate, yes, it's true, but it devalues what you currently have. So I think we should.
Yeah, but isn't that the same argument for people that choose to stake their root for 20% APY and those that don't? Like, there's many ways we can choose to play this. If you don't want to participate and you want to put that money elsewhere, everyone has an opportunity to choose where they put their money and look at the maths and decide. And I think that's what the point Alex was saying earlier. You can choose to stake or you can choose to miss out, and then you get devalued over time just holding root. So there's many ways that people can choose to play the game, that they can choose to participate in the surreal scapes and the prisms and get the engagement score, or they will get devalued if they do nothing. I
It's
think
also a great
at
way.
least we all have,
Sorry.
yeah, it's just the opportunities are all there for us to make choices. I don't think we're like being disadvantaged because we're not being told beforehand.
Well, you have been told beforehand now, and you can make a decision based on what you know. I think it's a great way to get new people involved, as well as, OGs and people who are already involved, to give them an incentive and a boost in their future score if they wish to participate. It's a good way for these new people to see that they've got a decent enough score to start getting involved in Quest and getting up to speed with everything. So, and like I said, it's engagement score. So over time, it's going to decay once we implement that. So it's not like it's the same as a collectible score. Prisms and Surrealscapes will have their own collectible score for future score, but that will be separate from the engagement score.
Hey Sam, quick question. The circulating supply, it's roughly 1,035,000,000. And I think the market makers got roughly 600 million. Is that included in the circulating supply roughly?
To be honest, I don't know that I can answer that question. I would think
okay.
so.
I was just trying to figure.
But
I assume that it is. I'm just trying to figure out. Again, the mathematics. I don't think 95 million root is 10% of circulating supply, and if 600 something is market makers, that I think we're going to be okay. Is my point.
Wagme.
yeah, I'm excited. It's cool to actually get the chance to start playing with our assets after all this time. So it's pretty exciting.
Was it mentioned if we're going to be provided with more information around how the game works before it starts? Like, does a prism mine equal, every prism is equal in regards to the amount of root it can mine, but is not equal in the amount of other resources it can mine? Is kind of the information around that going to be provided? Or are we just going to have to guess how the game works? Looks like we'll be guessing.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to give you all the details for exactly how every mechanic works. There's going to be a discovery and allowing people to figure out how things work. So pieces of it, yes, but we'll determine that once we get closer to that time.
Thanks.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be much of a game.
Since
All right, gang.
since you heard Sam, can I ask you a quick question? Hey, just quick question, bro. It's Atari. Do you know if we'll find out, or do we just do our own math on how many Surrealscapes we're gonna get? So I know to mint enough prisms. Is that just information I have to do my own math on, or will we know?
I think we put out enough for you to know. Burrows get the amounts that we've always said, and then I believe we have put out information on other traits and things like that are like scenes that get it. I'd need to double check though.
All right, no, I'll go through it again. I have all the Mystic Valleys and Shroom Lights and stuff. I got to go back through the stuff. It was probably in there. It's just it's just been a lot going on. But I appreciate you, bro. Thanks for
Mystic Valley, Dancing in the Shroom Light. We'll get Surrealscapes, Burrows from our collections.
All right, I'll go back and read through it. Thanks, bro.
No problem. I'll pop that one in Gen Chat right now, just so you can easily find it.
All right, thanks, bro.
And I'll tag you. No worries. All right, gang. I gotta get back to work. Talk to you later.
There's some.
Peace. Anyways, we can't be sure what's going to happen here, but it feels like there would be more demand than supply of roots. So that's good. If you have some root, not if you want to buy some and don't have money for a while.
I'm excited that people were thinking that Pudgy Penguins was us trying to do a vampire attack, but Alex confirmed that there actually is a partnership. So that speculation can be put to rest, and we can be excited what happens from it. Because I'm really curious to what like Doodles and Pudgy and all of them are going to do.
Yeah. So by the way, I've been going into the Pudgy Penguin in their Gen chat like every day and just like randomly like posting, "Are you guys excited about the Third Kingdom?" Not for fun, but it's kind of a ghost town in there. And like I've only got one response, so someone said no, we're not excited. But it's the general chat, so I'm sure everybody's in their holder chat. So yeah, no, I'm excited too to see the Pudgies and everything go down.
It's gonna be fun. Hey guys, I missed the 30 minutes max. I'm waiting for the posting, hopefully. But were we told how long the phase is? Is this?
Nope.
Okay, and also, have we been told that it'll pay out at the end or like throughout, slowly trickle out?
No information.
Nothing yet, Tom. But read the blog. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, nothing yet, Tom.
Okay, and we don't know if the game's passive or active at all either, do we?
No, we know nothing yet.
Fun.
Just the price of prisms and the basic mechanics of minting.
Why does it feel a lot like Other Side of Yuga?
Don't fuck my boy Tom.
I think that number 100,000 might be the only thing I see in common. Just that high supply.
Yeah, at least we don't pay their gas prices.
Yeah, gas has been optimized.
Oh, are we minting on Root Network? I've been gone for a while.
Yeah, we're minting on Root for sure, so it will be cheap and easy.
Alright, cool. Yeah, let me know when that Atom Card Club reveals, by the way.
I'll buy yours.
I sold it. I had two unrevealed. The last one I sold was probably like 18 months ago. But it was going to happen any moment. But 18 months ago, it was going to happen any moment, just by the way.
Soon.
Yeah, it's amazing it's been that long, and like, what could it be to take this long?
I think they were just ironing out all the partnerships, and it's ended up just I think they kind of pivoted from what it was initially going to be, and I mean there's a lot of speculation what it could be.
Isn't it a lot of the speculation is like it would be like a partnership with DeLorean?
Yes, a lot of.
But we
I
have
personally. Go ahead.
we have a vehicle that looks like a DeLorean right now. The doors open up on the sides.
Exactly. Yeah, no, we have a DeLorean already. So I'm thinking a Goblin car, but that's just my personal speculation.
I don't know how they could wait this long.
We had the image of a tank. You remember that?
Oh boy, that's something.
That was once shown in the Discord. A tank from the same who did the ray guns.
Gordwarts, Dr. Gordwarts, huh? That's intriguing right there.
By the way, am I the only one that thought my burrows, my land, and everything is gonna be more like a 3D playable shooter game?
It's going to be, bro. This is just the beginning stage.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we're 5 years
Is it
out from that.
separate games or will it be one game? I'm confused. I gotta be honest.
I think they keep rolling out these mini games as long as they're building out, their future. Was there a question, what do they expect in 5 years down the road? Like, what was the plan? And they say, just like the movie, they want to get there, but obviously that's going to take forever to build. So while getting there, these things pop up and keep us engaged.
Yep, exactly.
Keep us paid.
Well,
Coming from a true whale.
Oculus isn't ready yet for any of that, so hopefully by the time it's built, they have like the Oculus 9, and it'll be no problem.
Was there any mention of the white paper?
Nope.
Yeah, no talk of a white paper since.
And wasn't it like he said on Twitter, like white paper is something you don't need, you show the product?
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's what he said.
But you know what, like, there's a slight possibility I may have got impatient with Aaron in the past. And I think that's because he used to make promises and say things and deadlines and promise this, promise that. So it looks like he's avoiding all of that, which is smart in my opinion. And he's just like sending smiling wink emojis. And that's actually smart on his part. You know what I mean? Because then we can't yell and say, you said
it depends on what his target group. Looking at a company looking for investors and big partnerships, fully agree. If you see us as a Web3 community and customers, not really. But it's probably like big sports. The people in the stadium don't make the money.
He still couldn't help leaking. What was it? Races. Due date.
I expected races in February, I think.
That got postponed for sure. He doesn't say stuff like that anymore, but he did say that. But we got TNL.
Yeah, but TNL is not really running on my MacBook Pro. it's lagging as hell.
So the mint for Prisms is before you receive Surrealscapes. So, but you pretty much have an idea how many you're getting, right?
You get it the same day, so you know how much you have, but I'm not sure if we know what's on them and how valuable they are. And I don't even know if they are different or just the size. Because size-wise, it seems Cool Cats have the 4 tiers and get also a 16 like a Snoop.
Okay, well, here's what I'm guessing, but I don't actually know anything. This is all made up in my brain. That you're going to see an unrevealed land, and you're going to know it's 1, 4, 9, or 16 connected plots, but you won't know what's in it. And the guy who has like 5 of them, he might have a party bear with a party jet background. He might have a fluff with a mystical whatever background. He might have a seeker with a mushroom forest. I don't know which one of his plots got what results. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you might have 4 unrevealed and one of them's really good, but we don't know. Unless you had 1 for 1 in your wallet, you don't know what's what. You know what I mean? Am I making sense or no? I don't know if I am.
No, it could still be random. You're fully right.
Like, it's going to be based on what your rabbit or your party bear's background or whatever. It'll be unrevealed. And then people are going to try to be slick, like I said, and look it up and be like, okay, what kind of fluff did he have, the guy who's selling this? And say, he's got a floor fluff, maybe, could be anything. Or you have like a gold fluff.
Yeah, but you would assume that the 16 land parcels, for example, are more valuable because they only come from a snoop.
I imagine there's got to be an advantage to them being connected. There has to, right? In Sandbox, there was, in Axieland, all of these amazing real estate projects that came to fruition. You want your NFT land to be connected.
Yeah, but can we remind everyone that all of those projects kind of died?
Yeah, they're probably not doing much volume right now.
A bit of a left field thought. What if this is the first Futureverse mint that doesn't sell out?
Don't think that will happen.
Yeah, I think this is going
to
sell out.
145,000.
What's really the mechanics are doing, especially the future score bump in the first 24 hours, is they're incentivizing people to max participate. Because if you don't max participate, the more or less the denominator of future score is going to go up by a ton. And if you don't participate your share, you're going to have a smaller share of the total future score pool.
Dilution.
In other words, they set the mechanics so that people kind of, they don't have to do anything, but if you want to maintain your share of the pool, you have to maintain your share of the spend on this mechanic in the first 24 hours. So they're incentivizing people as much as they can to spend as much as they can, which I don't really know how
it seems
I feel
like they're
about.
giving a great way to get a return on your, like, some of that money back, even outside of what you're going to mine from the game. But like for me, I think I need a total of 72 to max out all my land. So if I did that all, it's going to cost me 50,000 root to do it. If I do that in the first day, then I get an engagement score bonus of 7,200, which would be, this is a
16%.
quest for participating in the Prism Mint. So when then those quest rewards get paid out, I would get 7,200 of that 50K root back, and now I just need to mine 43K off of playing the game, which is better. So I think I'm personally pretty happy with the way it all turned out.
The thing is, when you look at the math, you probably will come to the decision that you have to pay up, which means that people are going to do the spend, right? But that results in the team getting a huge amount of revenue from the mint, and then less is available for people playing, I guess. Like, more or less, there was 30 million available at current prices through this first season. 240 million total, but we don't really know how that relates to the first season and these assets, and if these assets are gonna participate in the whole 240 million route, or just this 325 million? Sorry, 2.4 billion versus 325 million for season 1. So it kind of leaves people with the likely decision to max spend, which kind of dilutes how much is available for people versus the team, right? Like, right, if it's $30 million available for players to earn, but they spend $30 million, then no one got anything. The team got it.
It's a great point, because they have said that prisms are consumables. So I'm guessing we have to spend, $10 million to get $30 million every season. And if that's the case, well, then the 2.4 billion up for grabs in land mechanics, we're actually spending 700 million to get that. So we're getting 2/3 of what is in that pool.
Right. Like when I read the white paper, I thought for the land mechanics, there's 2.4 billion available. But now what the team is doing is they're reclaiming an amount of it, and they're doing that by incentivizing people to buy it using the future score allocation. And so there's now way less percent available for this land mechanic than it appeared initially in the future in the Root Network white paper, because the team is reclaiming it.
Also, we get far more land, isn't it? Because Cool Cats, Walker World, and Pachis get free land.
I don't really mind.
Just say the share per land is also less.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem, and I don't think that was ever like a promise or an assumption that I made, because you have to grow the amount of users somehow. So I think that part makes sense. It's just the part that the team is kind of reclaiming the fruit.
But wouldn't you have the community land, which
Yeah.
can't mine, but it's for free for growing the user base?
Well, I mean, I guess there's multiple ways to grow the user base, and I don't really mind this attempt to grow the user base. I just I'm questioning the fact that all this, like, when you look at the white paper, it says that there's a small amount for the team, right? And it lists all these different amounts that we thought were just going to what it said it was going to. But in reality, for the 20% that is going to land mechanics, the team is now reclaiming a substantial portion of that for the team allocation. Conceptually.
Exactly. So if our assumptions are correct and subsequent seasons are equal to season 1, let's just say, then that land mechanic pool is really around 13.3%, because we're giving the remaining back to them in ETH for prisms, in root for prisms.
And that's kind of like, it's uncapped though. Like that's like the minimum. If people end up putting more than the 90 something million, the team can get up to over 100% of the land mechanics back, which is, it doesn't. My first take is that doesn't seem right or fair, but at the same time, we're kind of being given the decision to max participate, and get a return more than we're paying. So we're still being incentivized to do it, but then we're kind of giving the money for the land mechanics back to the team instead of it being used towards people playing the game.
You have also to see, you're right, but there's also a risk, because we are believing that Root and everything else is raising, just imagine after mint, root price drops by half.
I mean, that's just throwing more variables at it.
It's not a sure bet. It's never.
Right. Yeah, it's never for
Right.
sure. But so, is there any plan for this money they're collecting? I'm sorry. Let's pretend that I fully ingested everything when I read the blog and I remember every drop of it, which I don't. Is there a plan for this? Let's call it 90 million root. Do we know like it's coming back to us in a certain period of time, or if they want to, can they buy Lamborghinis with it and that's it? That's the free market.
Or is it burned? Burned would be a good thing.
It's a lot of burning.
Yeah,
They'll have
like,
a plan,
do we have?
and I doubt it will be a selfish one.
Like, do we have an assurance that the team isn't taking that money and selling it on the open market? Is what you're asking?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's their right as a business. If they created a successful product to monetize at some point, right? Like, that's their right to do that. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to say Aaron's going to steal all the money and hop on a private plane. I'm not going there. I'm just saying, like, is it all coming back to the community, or is there any description of what's happening to that money so far?
No, definitely not. And I have a feeling if you asked, you would say it's none of your business what we do with our treasury. I mean, I don't think they're just going to market dump it on us, but yeah, obviously this is a game plan for them. You know, I feel the sentiment in here though around it.
They'd probably have a few staff incentives with it, but mostly I'd expect it to go back into remarketing or some other prize pool, or to be reinvested somehow. But we're only guessing. They haven't said, right?
They definitely have to like pay for game development and things like that. I think. I mean, they can choose to like fund it through investment. At some point, they got to make revenue back to pay for stuff, I guess. They can do that on any number of timelines, though.
We've been told the war chest is big enough for plenty long enough for now.
But the
Well,
way I'm looking at like Bildo, if you're doing this long term and you're not trying to like trade stuff, like you're just getting this anyways, you're probably getting that money back. Like whatever you threw into it, if you're gonna stay active and do the quest, you're getting that money. You're like right back, or over time, I imagine. If that's the plan.
Yeah, I mean, we still don't know how long the season is, but like with as much out there that is available, given the breakdown, if you max mint, even taking an average, but I feel like, we've been hinted that Fluffs might have some incentive, or Futureverse assets might have some boost with thingies and buzzies and fluffs and bears and backgrounds, and all these different things play a part. So like maybe we have a little bit higher than the average, but even on the average, if you max mint, I just don't see how you wouldn't recoup your root after season one, is the way I look at it. But again, it's also, a lot of people max staked and might not have certain, root available. Hopefully we get quest 7 and quest 8 before the mint, so we can, use some of that root, because I definitely can understand some people's, worry there. I'm curious to see what kind of buy pressure it has for other communities that haven't been airdropped any root, and they're going to have to, go buy some. So it'll be interesting to kind of watch how that goes. But overall, again, I feel like this is all like a net positive, and it seems like it's like a win for us. But I guess some other people may feel differently.
One thing we're not factoring in is, well, we're talking about root a lot, but it looks like there's going to be 6 other resources that can be mined. So I don't know if they're going to be soft tokens or if they're going to be mintable or what. So that's one thing we don't really know that I think that could kind of gain asset utility for sure.
I just really hope it's not more tokens.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if it's going to be soft in game or are they tradable on, I guess.
It could be Asto, Silo, but then in-game stuff maybe. Nobody knows.
Hopefully I get some moon rocks.
Absolutely possible.
I think he's starving.
Yep, some junk.
There's a mycelium too. How many coins are there total? What can you name every coin?
Asto, Silo,
Top
Sand,
5
and
puffer
Root.
coins. Can you give us a top 5 puffer?
No, but I'm serious. There's Sens, there's Root, there's Silo.
Silo, Asto, Moon Rocks, tickets.
Junk.
Alright. Listen, you guys are
yes.
gonna yell at me. You guys are gonna yell at me. What the fuck is a ticket?
I think the main problem is a lot is still unrevealed because let's be honest, right now it seems the main game is based on the land plots. All other NFT we have are not really like, why do I need a ray gun? Why do I need a thingy, a buzzy, a fluff, a party beer? Not at the moment, not usable. And those land parcels even got free to other communities. So if I had Apache, I would stand at the same moment as we stand right now.
Yeah, Alex kind of hinted on Twitter that some of the FV assets are going to be some pretty good utility. So I agree. I mean, I think there's still a lot of unknown, and I think some of these things like thingies and buzzies, they're going to come into play. I don't know if it's going to be mining faster or more assets or what, but I think we're going to get taken care of. It is a lot to swallow to dump a bunch of root though. I don't know. It is tough.
Don't look at the burrow price currently.
I'm not.
I'm not saying that we're not being taken care of. I think you're right that we are. It is new information to me that the 20% allocation to land mechanics is substantially being claimed by the team as opposed to by people playing the game.
Yeah, and I mean, a part of that is this is one season. I don't know how many seasons are going to be allocated
Right.
for this, but yeah, I agree. It's definitely changed. But yeah,
They're also giving a lot of that back between the future engagement score incentive plus all of the land that's going to be getting,
Can I
future score plus the
push back
prisms
a
that
little
are
bit
getting
on that?
future score. Like all those things are added that are also getting now paid back to us. So
Can I push back on that? So from an individual perspective, like for dollars spent, yes, you're right. You're going to get money back from an individual perspective. But the 20% is the 20%. It's just a matter of who gets the 20% among community members, right? So are we truly getting rewarded in community points as a group? No, we're still getting the same amount. It's just now we're giving it we're getting less percentage of the land mechanics, which I mean we were never promised and never knew like what percentage the community would get of playing this game. We knew we would have to play a game. We didn't know how much percent we were going to get, and all of that was undetermined, and that's fine. And we knew that we needed to grow the user base through this land mechanics system. And what is new here, at least to me, is the concept that instead of just players, including new players, getting a percentage, getting the whole 20% of the land mechanics, the team is reclaiming a substantial amount, and it's kind of uncapped as well. So, for example, there's 300 million root or like 315 million root available for the season. And if 315 million root is spent in this pool, that would result in the team getting 100% of the land mechanics. And the minimum is, at least for season 1, and the minimum is 90 something million root tokens, which is about close to a third. So instead of users, like players, getting the whole 20% of the land mechanics, they're getting somewhere, and this is only season 1, which is only 13%. So I can't really comment on the other 87% yet because the information isn't available. But at least for this first tranche, the team is getting at least 30% around, and players are getting 70%, which the white paper makes it seem like the team is getting a smaller amount and people are getting a lot. But in reality, that land mechanic is now not 20% to people, but instead somewhere between 13% and 20%. Sorry,
Sure.
somewhere between 0% and 13%.
And we spent $700 to mint burrows, so we've already paid, a decent amount.
So I'm feeling, I'm feeling that it's probably in each individual's max benefit to max spend, but it is not in the overall community's benefit to max spend. So it kind of creates that conundrum where everyone, if they're operating under what's best for them, which is how people work, then they're disadvantaging the whole community. So I don't know how I feel about that.
Are you proposing a union?
No, I'm just saying how it is.
I would actually
You're
have
right, I think.
proposed that burrow owners get free prisms, and cool cats and the others buy the stuff.
The truth is,
Oh,
I
wait,
want a
let me
lot
know
of this
some
20% to go to new users that aren't in the community. It should be a way to get
Well, Max, to be fair, we don't know what they do with the root, isn't it?
right. I don't know that they're gonna sell it or they're gonna give it away or what. Are they gonna burn it? I have no idea. But I mean, I don't know if they're gonna hold it for a long time. I mean, it's not like they are like these bad actors that are just stealing money from us. I don't see it that way, and I don't mean to paint a picture that way. It's just that I learned today that the way that the white paper splits up the percentages and it says land mechanics 20%, I thought that was 20% is going to people that play a game, but the reality is a substantial amount of that is going back to the team, and we don't know what the team's going to do with those tokens or what they have in the past, and you can only assume act in the benefit of us and the project in general. But it's just let's say they hold it for a long time, and that's fine. That's okay, but less than 20% of the land allocation is going to actual people by a lot.
Yeah, I mean, to touch on that, I don't think we'll ever know. And honestly, I mean, it's really not our concern, but it kind of is. But what I do know is there's such a AI front end company. I mean, that stuff is very expensive. So I would like to think it would go back in the ecosystem somehow. But Max says those are great points. I don't know if we'll ever get that answer.
Well, I hope there is already enough money and far more, because 9 million is for an AI company nothing. I think Elon said it. You need billions and billions to burn per month.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, they're Futureverse. If they want to expand, they're going to have to bring in more revenue streams. So this is kind of a cheeky little way of them doing this, where the community gets taken care of, but at the same time they can get something back. So I don't necessarily see this as a bad thing, but Max, to your point, crunching numbers, it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out.
So if someone puts in enough for 100 prisms, so what's that? 100 times 6.9, 69,000 root. Divide that by 0.1, so $7,000 worth. Someone puts in $7,000 worth. They'll get a 10,000 engagement score boost to their future score. Is that correct? So 100 prisms, you get a 10.
I thought it was 10 future score engagement points per prism, not
You do it
100.
in the first 24 hours, you get a 10x bonus. So yes, that would assume
100.
you are correct. So you would get
Oh,
initially
wow.
10,000 root back from the amount of root that you spend.
It's a
So
16%
initially back right
discount.
off of that, plus whatever the prisms and land surrealscapes add to your future score as well. Like, I get it. I get Max's point, but like it's hard to like hear this, look at it all broke down, and not really be excited for the future because I feel like we're all going to be winning if we continue to play the game. Like
Yeah, I agree.
The thing
it's
is,
just
for
like
each
a huge like
individual,
I understand
for each
seeing like the
individual,
other side of it, but man, I'm
for
stoked.
for each individual, you're getting taken care of for spending, right? But the community is getting hurt as a whole.
Well, just Max. I mean, to do rough math, right? So there's going to be 3.2, we'll say roughly million root divided by we've already done this math, 135,000 prisms just on the low tier. That's 2,314 root per prism. That doesn't factor anything else we don't know. I mean, I think this is a no-brainer. The community is going to get taken care of. If that's just the default 2,300 per prism plus the future score increase, I would say the community's very well taken care of, right? I mean,
Right, but that's a comment that I've made clear. I think I agree with you. Everyone that participates is being rewarded for participating, but as a whole, the
more
percentages in the
participations, the
white
more
paper.
transactions get onto the root network,
Right,
which pays
I
out
agree
in
with I agree
Vortex,
with
which
all
is a
that.
win for the community as well.
I
Like
agree with all
they're
that. I'm just saying the percentages in the white paper are kind of deceiving at this point because when it said 20% for land mechanics, I assume that means people that are playing the game are getting the 20%. But the reality is the team is getting a substantial amount back by through the sale.
right.
And we
Well,
don't
this
know
goes
how
back to
future seasons are going to work, but if they're the same, then more or less you're paying money to get more money back. But so
well, this goes
yeah,
back to
waiting
season
for
one,
anyone
right?
that
I mean,
pays the money.
this is just season one. So I mean, I think that the team has crunched the numbers. Who knows how many seasons there's going to be. It might take a year to get the 20% allocation, but with multiple seasons, I think that's for sure possible.
we have no idea if these special prisms for season one are going to be, hey, guess what? Your trade is that they're good for all the seasons to continue. And anybody else that wants to participate further down the road either needs to buy one of our prisms or participate in a new fair value discovery to be able to buy more prisms down the road. But like, there's still a lot of information that you don't know. So, like, even if it is the amount that you're talking about and the 135,000 all get minted at the 700 root per that we're looking at, like I still feel like that's a small percentage to be like up in arms about that is going back to the team and not the community.
Right. So, like for example, let's say the minimum is spent. Let's say people put in $90 million or less. Sorry, 90 million root or less into this pool. and then the team got 1/3 of the initial sale, almost, and then in the future, for the future 87% of the land mechanics, they don't collect more revenue, and they just like let it play out, which I find hard to believe. Then it would end up being a small percentage, which would seem reasonable. But is that likely?
I mean, I guess let's wait and see what they have. I mean, it's just coming across like a kind of like a downer. I personally am trying to be excited about this because I feel like it's a huge win, and like it's just like not very good vibes in here is the way it comes across for me at least.
No, I think he's just trying to be fair and open. Like, look
Yeah.
at it from a neutral perspective instead of like.
But
Right.
he's
I am.
making like assumptions for the negative when we still don't know any of that yet.
I'm
Let
not
the
making
king.
any assumptions.
You
I have
just
not
said
made any
highly likely
assumptions.
that they're not going to continue without extracting more root for seasons forward. So that's an assumption that they're going to
Okay,
make us
fine. I
continue to
made
pay
one
every
assumption.
season.
Okay, but real talk, I am laying out facts and helping people understand things, and if that makes me a downer, okay. I've been called that a lot over the past couple of years as I've had my show and laid out facts and tried to explain things to people, and I'm going to keep explaining things to people with the facts that are available, and I'm not going to apologize for that. And if you think that makes me a downer, okay, I've been called that a lot, and I'm just willing to take it. It's okay, no problem.
I think it's fair to see all voices and see all sides. I think it's fair to see that, first of all, it's an investment of money. Yes, you probably get it back or even more. But it's also to understand that after the years, but also for new users, it's different. And for old users, it can be different by each person. There's a different sentiment. For example, I have to buy around 50 prisms, and I'm not sure I want to spend $5K right now again on Futureverse after also like buying dance on secondary for one ETH each.
That's a really fair comment, PCO. And I think in regards to trying to grow the network, there's going to be dilution as we grow because we're trying to bring in all these new communities, and just increasing number of participants is going to dilute any rewards pool. But the idea is that obviously increases the value of root as there's more demand. So I think as a community, like I completely understand everyone questioning it as we're trying to understand it, but ultimately the more dilution there is, in theory, means that there's more demand. In regards to the view that the team are diluting it and putting it back in their own pocket, I sort of don't really see any difference to how this mint mechanic works versus any other previous Futureverse mint where it may have helped fund their future runway. I personally don't care where that money goes, so long as it's not being dumped on the market, which of course the team isn't going to do. But maybe I have too much of a biased, slanted view. But I'm excited. I understand everyone trying to get their heads around it at the same time. And maybe there'll be some more information come out closer to the mint to help sort of allay or ease any concerns that might still remain by then.
I do agree that dilution is important and bringing in more people is great, which is kind of the basis for the comments.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you don't understand that, Max. I'm just making a broad statement around, anyone that is concerned about the dilution. There's actually, there's more of a positive vibe to that than anything else. Like the worst thing we could have is a walled garden. And I'm not directing these comments at you, Max. I'm just speaking broadly. But, the more diluted we become, it means that there's more demand from elsewhere, which also quite rightly goes back into Vortex rewards too. So it's kind of like with anything in this space, we like to think of ourselves as investors, but let's be honest, there's an element of gambling in this because we don't get all the facts up front. You get what the team decides they want to share, and that's their entitlement because it's their business. It's up to us to decide if we want to get stuck in, and I guess we can base our decisions on whether or not the team have shafted the community in the past, and I don't feel like they have. So, and everyone has their own financial circumstances. It's not an easy world out there at the moment, and a lot of people might have burnt their route, and that's totally fine too. I guess there's an opportunity to see how this first season goes, and then make your decision for the second season if you didn't want to participate in the first.
Not really. As they say, there are special prisms in the first, and they are far better than the few further coming. So, to be fair, the team is kindly and highly incentivizing rush to mint and also mint now. In the rest, I fully agree with you. One thing I would have liked to see, we get free community lands to adapt more users. I would have loved not as good prisms, community prisms also, to just see more traffic in total and have a free game also to play. Because for a lot of countries, $80, $90 can be a lot of money.
Do we know if prisms carry over to subsequent seasons, or they're consumables after season one?
Yeah, that's a great. I was getting ready to chime in on that. Ready? From what I understand, these prisms are just isolated to season one.
Yeah,
someone correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I read it.
Yeah, that's how I understand.
So,
So
I think you're exactly right. This is a trial and error season, and I think they'll adjust. I mean, this is a good thing. I mean, we who knows how many new users we're going to have coming into the season. It's exciting. I agree.
Yeah.
How do I say your name? Is it Kiwana?
Kiwiana. I think Americana.
Kiwiana. Yeah, that was great feedback. I completely agree.
Cheers. Let's get pumped, everybody. This is exciting.
So why does it matter if these are premium prisms then? Because they're all going to be premium in season one. So what does it matter that we have no advantage over subsequent seasons?
I'm just guessing, but I think, and he sort of hinted at it, Alex sort of hinted at it, and maybe I'm just misinterpreting. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some lesser, so the value of the prism in my mind is the amount of root that they can collect versus perhaps lower value prisms that might be available. And it wouldn't surprise me if there were another round of prisms to come that weren't anywhere near as effective at collecting root. So that if you couldn't afford this round, maybe there'll be another round. I don't know. Again, I'm just purely speculating and making this up as we go. But that's just based off the way he answered the question. But yeah, my guess is that these prisms collect more root than potentially a future lot, because he did say this is the first prisms. It would be interesting to go back and re-listen to a recording of 30 minutes max.
Well, yeah, you make a good point. I think we need to find out whether these prisms do just die after season one. But then you also bring up a good point about, after this first prism sale of 135, are there going to be more prisms for sale during season one? And then if so, then our calculations of 312,500,000 root divided by the amount of prisms and what that will produce in root then gets diluted. So they might.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm totally just making this up. So there's no, the team.
No. But it's a good assumption that we should really clarify.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a good chance the team will be open to more questions or put out more information before people commit to spending this much money. At least that's my hope. Didn't mean to kill the chat.
Is anyone active in Cool Cats, Pachi, whatever Discords? And are they talking about it? Are they reacting to it?
I can check Cool Cats. I'm pretty cool with them.
I've been in the Pudgy Discord, but I don't have the holder role. But they're just concerned about their floor price dropping. Has been the sentiment in there. I've been going in there every 36 hours and hyping us up low key, trying not to look like a spammer. And now there's no response yet. But it's just the general non-holder chat, Oxy.
Yeah, and I mean, touching on that, I mean, probably the biggest challenge is going to be getting these users to getting root on TRN network. That's going to be probably the biggest challenge. Because going through ERC 20 is going to be a gas disaster. So in my opinion, the only way to really do this is to kind of tunnel through XRP. I don't know if anyone has any comment on that, but that's when I first joined this space in December. I was like, holy shit, what do we have to do? It's kind of a pretty overwhelming um, thing to do for these new users. So I don't know if the team has something in line for that, but I could see that being a pretty big challenge.
Kia ora, everybody, little fluff family. I hope you're all well out there. This is Donnie Lemon coming at you live and direct. I'm pretty excited really about what's happening, pretty excited by what the team's building so far, pretty happy to go along with pretty much whatever they tell us to do. That's just me. I do feel well looked after at this point. I'm not a whale by any means. I'm just a little minnow trying to make my way up. Hope to get to the 1 milli club by the end of the 2 years. I've got a long way to go yet, but I'm excited by the new developments that are happening. I don't think that there's going to be as many people from the other communities crossing over and giving it a go as you would all expect. There's a lot of apathy out there. People still don't understand the project. The door is open to them, though. I welcome them all, and I hope that they do come and join us and join the fun. And, good luck, everybody, trying to get as much of that 30 milli as you can in season 1. It's a great little fun dynamic, and just enjoyed the journey so far, and I do feel very well looked after. And I just hope you all have a great day, really. That's all.
Love you, Donnie.
Touche.
Yeah, I think so
I was
too.
going to say,
I mean,
touche. Well said, Donnie.
And Donnie is an absolute whale. Don't let him tell you he's a minnow. Like one of the top 100 holders across everything in my heart.
I've definitely cornered the market on love. I've cornered the market on love and respect. I keep meaning to get myself my first fluff, but I keep managing to find things to spend my root on that I've so welcomely been given. But I'll get there. I'll get there in the end.
You're a legend, Donnie. Just thinking too, I think once this season 1 plays out, that there's going to be a serious demand for season 2, once people realise the rewards that get paid out, and especially as partnerships get rolled out. So I think this is a good opportunity for people in season 1 to try and maximise their earnings of root, because as more communities come in, there's going to be more people participating and competing for prisms, given that they are a consumable. So to my mind, just like everything else with a new ecosystem, the early adopters will be rewarded higher than people coming in later. So my assumption is that the people who are participating in the first round, and this is not just to try and encourage people to participate at all, you need to make your own financial decision, but I think it's highly likely there'll be less people participating the first time, and potentially more rewards able to be gained this time around. What do you guys think?
I would agree. I mean, Quest 1 and 2 were paid out pretty large, so I would imagine that the first couple seasons they'll probably highly incentivize to try to get as many people playing as possible. And I'm all here for it.
I feel like we need a shiller wag me. Where is the great man when you need him?
Wag me. I'll throw one in. Hey, Bildo, how are you going to negotiate your way around having a catch up? So I'm going to have heaps of background noise, guys. With Miss Gecko, when she's going to be like all about AI and trying to understand altered state machine and what's going on there, and your head's going to be like, man, I'm so thinking about prisms right now. How are you going to keep on
Yeah,
track,
no,
bro?
they're interested. They're open to be talking everything that's newly going on. So yeah, it might be, like Bill and Geck's Excellent Adventure. We might travel to the past a little bit and talk about some things that have previously happened, and might travel to the future to have some speculation about what's still to come. So yeah, should be a fun show.
Do you know much about their community? Because I've just started looking into it, the whole VV, Omni, all of that whole side of things, which I knew nothing about previously, because that's where they're all coming from pretty much. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's all like mostly comics. It seems like it's a bit of a like Web 2.5 type of situation where I feel like they can trade everything on their app, but they don't necessarily have full custody of things. Their founder is from New Zealand, and he is an New Zealand Entrepreneur of the Year, just like Aaron. I know they've at least spoken through, their community reaching out, like, do you guys know each other? And Aaron and David have at least confirmed that they do know each other. But they're very heavy on IP. It seems like they have a ton of it through. They just released like a Marvel comic, and yeah, it seems like they have a ton. So I'm trying to figure out
Do you want to
how
explain?
to bridge that gap to make sure that they can come on over as well. And I feel like when Aaron talks about kind of playing to learn, and maybe the way FIFA was designed with, all these NFTs minting, but we still don't know how we can have actual access to them, but there might be a play to learn aspect. And as you learn more, you get custodial ownership and kind of can further investigate. I feel like their community would be like a perfect fit for something like that, because there's some people that are degens and full into the Web3, and then there's others that are just kind of collectible or collectors that are kind of just barely stepping, putting their foot in the water. So yeah, we'll see how it continues to evolve.
Yeah, there
also
seems to
be
be a lot of synergy between our community and their community in that regard, considering how little I knew about them. I certainly didn't know that the guy was a Kiwi, for sure, but I'm kind of sidetracking the conversation here. But keep it up, bro. Like, that's really great work you're doing out there. The more you do behind the scenes to educate them, the easier it is for me to bring our team in at a later stage and, do that higher level stuff. So really appreciate it, bro. Keep it up.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's been fun.
Hey guys, how's it going? Hello.
Hey,
Good,
what's
bro.
up?
All good.
We can hear you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty new here, man. I've just been around for maybe a month, so it's pretty nice dropping into these conversations because, yeah, a lot to unpack and stuff. So I just came up to say, like, I really appreciate it.
You lucky bastard.
and
Get
like,
all
I am
this
from
NFT for cheap.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry. Just want to say you're lucky you can buy a fluff for cheap.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I am from those communities. You guys were just talking about. I mean, a bunch of other stuff too. So but yeah, it's interesting, man, because like you said, those other projects have a lot of IP, and I think what piqued everyone's interest to the Futureverse was the Readyverse announcement, on that side of the community, because they have all this IP, and actually, it was like one of the early drops on VV was a DeLorean. So, and they got all this IP, Marvel, DC, whatever. So their dream there was that, this is Ready Player One. We have a DeLorean, we have Batman, we have Disney, we got everything, But it didn't turn out that way, and they've struggled along the way and stuff a little bit. And then now this is like the real Ready Player One, so everyone on that side got super excited, and I guess you'll have a lot of people crossing over because of that.
Yeah, happy to have you. I'm glad you joined the Discord and can learn some more. I've enjoyed all of your spaces and very smart, very talented community. So hopefully we can kind of further continue to bridge the gap between everybody.
Yeah, no worries, man. Yeah, I might buy a fluff soon or a party bear. I kind of bought when they announced the Walker World announcement. I was like, oh, maybe this is a cheaper way to get into the ecosystem, you know. So I saw the Walker women were, 0.05. I was like, oh, and they showed up in my future pass thing immediately. So I was like, oh, cool. And then when they announced the Surrealscape stuff, I think they left out like the regular Walker women out of it, so that didn't really work out. So yeah, probably buy one.
I was over there
Yeah, a lot of
stacking.
helpful people here. So if you have any questions about what to buy or what potential future score, Kona Road has a great breakdown of different assets and what they might be able to do for your future score. But yeah, helpful community. So by all means, don't feel shy. Ask questions if you have any.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Was this racing game gonna happen soon? Like I thought it was like kind of on the verge of happening, and then now there's obviously bigger stuff coming with the Third Kingdom and stuff. But yeah, no, I'm just slowly looking to see. I have a bunch of root. I've just figured out the Sen Z stuff, and I'm gonna try burn some and hopefully get a decent amount back and don't need to wait a few years. But yeah, just dipping my hands and probably make a big NFT purchase one of these days. So I appreciate it, guys.
Can I just
Awesome.
ask?
Well, yeah.
Can I ask? Like, thanks for coming up. Where do you guys get your information from? Like, we've got a few content creators that we're certainly trying to look after on our side. Like Sheller and Jerry's been around forever, and NFT Bro does the notes. Who are the standout content creators from your community, if you're able to say?
Oh, for like the Vivi kind of stuff?
Yeah, from the Vivi. I see there's a lot of people who have those red circles next to their names as
Yeah,
well.
I've
What's that about?
So I'm kind of on my way out of there because I'm kind of done with that project, but I'll tell you about it. So it's basically they have a token associated with this app. So it's an app on the App Store where you get licensed digital collectibles, which you can put in AR and 3D and all that stuff, and digital comic books by Marvel and stuff. So they had a token called OMI, which was like the kind of the engine for this app. So every time someone made a purchase on the app, they were burning this OMI token, and it was supposed to be depreciating and all that stuff. So this was the token associated with it. It's OMI. And yeah, since then they got in a bunch of regulation trouble, so they weren't able to make it depreciating anymore, and they're figuring it out. So their roadmaps like become very long now. So yeah, so the red circle is to show you're in the OMI community, which is the token.
I understand now. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate it. And you're in the right place. These guys will help you out with all the information. I generally can't answer many questions. That's why I help Alex once a week. If we can do that, come on here and answer those questions. But, I've been in this community for, well, not as long as many people here have, but my future score is pretty meager compared to few, but I've got one. That's all that matters. As long as you've got a future score and you're getting involved, and just follow along. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I've been in the space for a few years, so like it's kind of, I don't know, this kind of just was under the radar for me somehow until that Readyverse announcement, and so I'm glad I found it. But yeah, I was just like, what? Like, why don't I know this exists? And they're building all this tech, and there's all these things people say that are hurdles to the metaverse, and these guys are building piece by piece, and I don't know. I spent all day on Twitter. I don't know nothing about it. So yeah, I think better late than never.
It's really funny to be sitting in spaces listening to people talk about interoperability and all these problems that need to be solved, and I'm sitting there behind the scenes thinking, yep, done that, already done that, almost done that, on top of that, thinking, wow, and we're just quietly chugging along. And I think for the most part that's the best way to go for now. Trying to under promise and over deliver and surprise and delight needs to be the way forward, especially in this space. Hype is never the answer. And I think we've learned that, like a lot of projects have, and just keep chugging along. That's all we can do. I'm going to have to jump out of here again, guys, but I'm going to be coming back in later. Hope you guys hang around and keep chatting because, as I say, I'm sort of plodding around the Gold Coast at the moment, trying to sort a few things out, and I'm not in my office. I quite like that. Catch you guys later on.
Hey, real quick, Mo, before you leave, is there any way, or will you guys be posting a stream for Gold Coast for people that are?
Yep. So the whole thing, there are virtual tickets. So the whole thing is being streamed. It's all being recorded. So I will make sure in one way or another that we'll get hold of Aaron's speech and make sure that you guys get to see it or participate. And plus, man, I'm here. I'm going to be grabbing everyone, pulling them to the side and like doing little interviews here and there, just catching up with everybody where I can. I'll try and get as much content together myself, just filmed on my phone so that you guys get to see behind the scenes of what's going on and keep you involved. That's the best I can do, and I will do my best to do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Catch you soon, guys. Bye.
Me.
Is that Tybo?
I'm a listener, but I thought I'd say wag me.
What? Wag me, brother. Wag me.